Okay, we were talking a little bit about this huge airship Eureka hovering directly overhead. If you look up there, the work of this aircraft is done by computers that interpret the pilot's desires and inputs as he moves a small joystick in the cockpit. The elevator and rudder are not very effective at slow takeoff and landing speeds, so especially in those situations, the computer manages the engines, propellers, and flight controls all in harmony to allow them to maneuver this craft down, as you're going to see them do in just a second. Look at the massive size of this aircraft. Yeah, as Fred just pointed out, this is as long as a 747. This aircraft is the fourth such ship built by the modern Zeppelin company. It was scheduled to be used by Zeppelin for sightseeing in Germany, but was sold to Airship Ventures, again, a company started by husband and wife team of Brian and Alexandra Hall. Although neither is a pilot, these young entrepreneurs are seeing a dream come true by bringing airship flight back to the Bay Area. It flies low and slow, vibration-free for special ops for as long as 24 hours at a time. It's 246 feet long, it's the largest in the world, and flew over London before being partially disassembled in Hamburg, Germany, and shipped to Beaumont, Texas, aboard a 530-foot-long container ship last October. After reassembly, it was flown to the historic new home in Moffett Field, right down the street here. You remember the blimp hangars where they housed the Macon and a lot of these famous blimps of World War II? Well, that's the same place they're in now. The two of the Moffett hangars are 800 feet long. Well, I haven't had the enjoyment of the experience of flying in this yet. We did have a chance to tour the airship when it was down for its annual inspection. That was back, I believe it was about February or March. We were over at Moffett Field, and they let us go in there, and we got to go into the cabin of this thing, and it's spacious, it's luxurious, it's state-of-the-art. Again, we talked about a lot of the composite materials being used. Inside the cabin, you can stand up and walk around, and I'm 6'3", and I walked around with no problem in there. There's 12 first-class sized airliner seats. It uses helium instead of hydrogen to maintain its time in the air. The helium is more desirable and safer gas to use for lift, while the blimp has no structure inside their envelopes. Only the pressure of the gas keeps them from collapsing. Zeppelins and other rigid, semi-rigid ships. Okay, you see the engines right there. See the engines on the side? There's two IO 360, that's 360 cubic inch Lycoming engines. They're 4-cylinder, air-cooled. They're injected, they're opposed 4, which means we have 2 cylinders out each side, much the same as a Volkswagen engine looks. Then there's one on the tail section. Now as you watch these engines, they rotate them up and down, back and forth. They can control the pitch of the prop as well. There's also one on the tail, look at on the very back end. See how that one's got 2 propellers on it. It's got 1 engine running through a gearbox to 2 propellers. It allows them to bring the tail up or down, sideways, back and forth, much the same as what a rudder would do on a conventional aircraft. Again, as you look at this huge airship, the Zeppelin Eureka, the envelope, which is made of polymer fabric, similar to that used in spacesuits, is filled with helium. Inside the envelope are what they call ballonets, which are basically sealed bags into which the pilot can pump air or remove air by controlling a series of valves in the cockpit. Again, it's a real treat to have the Airship Eureka with us today. This is the first time it's been to San Carlos for our Vertical Challenge show, as it's only been operating less than a year here in the Bay Area. Again, it's housed and based out of Moffett Field in one of the old blimp hangars there. But take a look at this and imagine the sights you could see. I'm looking at some pictures here from the AOPA magazine that were taken of the San Francisco shoreline and skyline from the Airship Eureka. What a treat this would be. Again, to learn more about it, all of you have computers, go online to www.airshipventures.com. Again, airshipventures.com. Learn more about how you and your family, you can get a group together and book this entire airship for an experience of a lifetime around the San Francisco Bay Area, the wine country, or Monterey. Again, quite versatile. Also, if you notice, he's hovering right now. This is the only airship in the history of aviation that can hover. Again, we call this show Vertical Challenge. He counts. You don't have to be a helicopter to count for this show. Speaking of helicopters, look off your left. Mr. Chuck Ahrens in the beautiful Red Bull helicopter.